Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, and our first story of the day is by GhostWolf223. Not this again. I'm back from training and got loped back into another blind Karen again. I need someone to just tell me, is it my face or is it just my luck? Story. Gone to another store to buy some snacks and literally was back from the field. The store was relatively empty with a few employees around. I just started to choose the snacks I want to get when I heard the dreaded, ahem. I need to find some item I have no idea about. Keep in mind, I'm in normal clothing, but you really couldn't see that as I have a bloody plate carrier with fully loaded rifle magazines and a bloody patrol rifle slung on my chest. Sorry for the caps, I'm still ticked about this. Oh, the plate carrier literally says, police, front and back in huge white text with a blue background. I stood up and looked Karen in the eyes and asked, "Ma'am, you do understand I don't work here, yes?" Karen with a snarky tone, "Not along with that attitude." Remembering I was sent to court for the last Karen, I turned my back on her and started to walk out. Her still following me and yelling on the top of her lungs, "I will get you fired for this." Eventually she walked out behind me and the alarm went off. Now the security held her back because she was now considered stealing. And just my luck, they needed a cop to judge the situation. Just my freaking luck. I stayed around and the store wanted to press charges for attempted theft. Cuffed her and I went back in to buy the snacks, now with a cussing and kicking Karen in the back seat. Pissed off, I drove back to the station like a man on a mission and shoved her in the holding cell and dropped off the documents and got the heck out. I was done with the last one and training got my mind off of it for a good chunk of 3 months. Got back literally a day ago and now this. Let me ask you guys, does it surprise you that a Karen is so willingly ignorant that they're going to assume that someone with literal guns on them works at a store? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Our next story is by Sad Salads. Why would I be working with my toddler? And why would a store employee kidnap a child on the clock? This happened a few months ago, mid-October when the weather was still nice where I live. I went to our local Kroger to grab a few things I needed for dinner. This is important because I wasn't using a cart, just a basket. My oldest son, who is 3.5, loves to go to the store and do anything that involves getting out of the house. So I decided to let him tag along and leave his other brother at home with dad. Grocery trips for us are kind of like our little mom and son dates. I usually let him pick out a toy or a treat of some kind. Since outings aren't as often since the pandemic, I try to keep things normal and exciting for him. This is where the story comes into play. For note, I was wearing a light blue polo, but the store dress code is a dark blue polo with the store logo and khakis. I was wearing jean shorts that in no way was too short, but definitely wouldn't be allowed for any employee of a grocery store. So about 20 minutes into our trip, I had grabbed the few vegetables I needed. It was just shopping around the canned goods aisle to grab some things I might need in the future. I was putting a can of something back in exchange for a larger version I didn't see at first when I hear, "Ma'am, I need your assistance right this instant." Not working there, I figured someone was just being a jerk to a nearby worker and carried on until about 30 seconds later, while looking at different canned good items, when rude Karen grabs my arm and pulls me around. "Excuse me, can I help you?" "I know you heard me, now help me find the molasses now." "I don't work here clearly, so how about no and don't touch me again." "As a matter of fact, we're in a pandemic and you're not even wearing a mask, get away from me." "I have COPD, I can't wear one. Where is your manager? That's a violation for you to even ask about my medical condition." "Now go find this child's parents instead of dilly-dallying around like you're supposed to, or else I'll tell the manager you weren't gonna give this child back." Me, completely stunned and pissed at this point. For one, I didn't ask about your medical condition. I said get away from me since you are above health codes. How dare you accuse me of stealing a child? Again, I don't work here, lady, and this stolen child happens to be my son. Are you okay? Yes, you did. You did ask me, you little witch. I know you're a little rotten liar who doesn't want to get in trouble. Now take me to the manager now. You're no older than 16. Who are you keeping this child from? I am 25 years old. He came from my body and is my son. I do not work here. Get the heck away from me before I get a manager myself. You are scaring my son. Toddler son is visibly scared and on the verge of tears at this point. He looks scared because you stole him. So now I'm no longer finding his parents, but stole him on the clock? See, you just admitted it. You do work here. At this point, my son is crying, and so I just grab his hand and walk to find a manager as fast as I can, with rude Karen screaming behind me that she's getting a manager, and that I am kidnapping a child, so people are starting to look. I finally find the manager. It doesn't take much to explain the situation, as rude Karen was trailing behind me screaming as I was talking to him. He very quickly confirmed I did not work there, and then told her to leave for making such accusations and not adhering to local health department guidelines. She of course refused, started causing an even bigger scene on how we were human trafficking in the store, and the police ended up getting called by her. Yes, she was the one who called 911 to report a kidnapping. And she is arrested in front of a good 150 people. Basically just had to tell the cops my situation and how she was following me throughout the store, accusing me of stealing my own son, and that was that. And went home and on with the rest of my day. So, rude Karen, I sincerely hope a jar of molasses was worth a trip to jail and you received the mental health care you clearly need. OP's last sentence really kind of hit the nail on the head. I definitely get the sense that there's some kind of assistance that this Karen needs. So wherever they end up, whatever happens to them, I'm hoping that they get some kind of assistance, some kind of reform. There was just way too much that was very argumentative and extremely illogical. This next story is by Skull Shirtigal TCG. I sold a guy an arcade machine at a store I didn't work at. So my wife's Christmas present was a gift card to a well-known sporting goods store to get herself new shoes. We went in today, and at the front of the store were a few of those arcade one-up machines that have become popular lately. I asked my wife if she'd be okay with me playing some Pac-Man instead of helping her find shoes. She agreed, and don't worry, I used hand sanitizer before and after playing. While in the middle of my game, I'm approached by another guy. I'm in my late 20s, he's older than me, but I don't think he could have been older than 45. He casually walks up to me and says, "Having a good game?" "Yeah, actually, I'm not doing too bad." "I bet it plays terrible compared to the real thing." "Actually, no, you'd be surprised. It's pretty darn close." "Really?" "Yeah, the code is the same, and the picture's pretty clear, so the only thing to worry about is input lag, and that's really low." "Wow, I didn't realize these were so good. Too bad they only play one game." "Actually, this one has about 10 games installed." "Really?" I lose intentionally so I can give him the grand tour of the machine. "Yeah, see, when you boot it up, you can pick between all these games, and if you want more, these things are really easy to modify to add more." Him very interested by now. "You can modify these?" "Yeah, in fact, these arcade one-up machines are popular choices for arcade enthusiasts who want to play MAME but don't want to build their own cabinet, because these are affordable and leave a small footprint in your house." "So this price is fair?" "I certainly think so. I mean, speaking for myself, I built my own cabinet. I pull out my phone and show him the pictures. But in all, it costs a bit more than this does, so if you don't want to build one and you're okay with the limitations this gives you, I think it's worth it." Him, after a pause, "You know what? I want one." That was pretty cool to hear, but it crossed my mind that he might have thought I was an employee trying to pass a sale on him. "That's great, sir, but I should warn you, I don't actually work here. See, my wife needs shoes and I'm just playing games to pass the time." He didn't seem to mind. "I'll go find someone to help me buy this then." He turns and leaves and calls behind his shoulder, "Have a good game." That was about 10 minutes ago. As I'm writing this, he and an employee are busy loading the box into his truck. If you've got the space for it and you're kind of into the old arcadey style things, those kind of cheapo, easily modifiable ones that they do sell are pretty cool. I think this is a really awesome and just refreshing exchange to hear about. No contentious moments, no unnecessary drama, just two people interested in arcade cabinets having a great conversation. In a way, it kind of takes me back to going to places like Walmart where it had the little game display with the controller out and you broke your neck looking up at it, and you might talk to another kid that was standing there about the games. And to be fair, I kind of want an arcade cabinet now too. Opie's a good salesman. And our final story of the day is by MT Bike Chick, Same Karen Twice in 2 weeks. I have watched videos and heard the stories on YouTube about Karens, and they usually make me giggle and put a smile on my face. But from time to time, I usually have to put up with a Karen every now and then with my work, but nothing ever worth talking about or posting. Being the year of pandemic, and when things were sort of getting back to normal at the beginning of the summer with retail stores. And just to let everyone know, I'm a female, 36, and in really great shape and a cyclist. I was out mountain biking with some friends on a wonderful late afternoon. Good workout also. Started to head home and stopped at a Walmart to pick up a few things to make dinner for my daughter and me. Then I happened to see best friend with best friend's child. We greeted, and I've always been like an aunt to her child. He was turning 4 years old and she was buying him a bicycle for his birthday. This is right up my alley, and I said, "Great, let Auntie Kay help you out with it." Both were happy with it. We found him a good 16-inch wheel starter bike, looked at helmets, and I even fitted the helmet to him. Best friend and I were chatting a bit, best friend's child was looking at other toys, and this is where I get the ahem. I turned, I saw the Karen in all of her glory, and yes, every bit of the Karen look with her child. I said, "I'm sorry if I'm in your way of the shelves." Then in not so nice of a tone, Crazy Karen says, "Now that you're done with her, you can help me with my child and bike for him." "Sorry ma'am, I don't work here and I was just helping my friend with her son." "Yes you do, you are wearing cycling clothes." I just got finished with a ride about an hour ago and here to pick things up and saw my friend just helping her. "I'm sure one of the employees would be glad to help you and I really don't work here." Best friend says, "She doesn't work here, lady." "You need to butt out and shut up. I wasn't talking to you." I say, "Oh my god, let's go and get away from this crazy lady." "What? How dare you call me that? I will have you fired." Me trying to stay calm, and I repeated, "I don't work here." My friend always say that I am really scary when I'm mad. Being a tall woman, 5'10" and fit, I'm not a small woman. We tried to walk away, and Crazy Karen grabs my arm. I pull out of her grip and tell her, "If you touch me again, I will have you arrested." I try to walk away again, and she grabs my cycling jersey. "You are going to help me, and I'm going to report you to the manager also." "Let go of my jersey, you freaking wingnut." Then a Walmart manager comes around the corner, and Crazy Karen screams at him, "You need to fire your employee for not helping me." The Walmart manager says, "Ma'am, she doesn't work here and you need to let her go before I have you escorted out the door." "How dare you treat paying customers this way?" I pull my jersey from her grip and she tries to slap me. I grab her wrist in mid-flight and said, "You have now done it, lady," and twisted her arm behind her. Crazy Karen is now yelling assault and screaming about how bad I'm hurting her arm as I pull up behind her back. I do have a lot of fighting training, judo and some MMA. My best friend is recording it all on her phone and trying to keep best friend's child calm at the same time. Me to the Walmart manager, "Call the sheriff department right now, I'm having her arrested." "Let me go, I will sue you all, you're all going to jail." "I don't think so." I wrenched her arm up harder, her kid crying, and escorted her up to the front of the store as we waited for someone from the sheriff's department. 2 deputy sheriffs walk in, and I knew them both from having to use the sheriff's department a lot in my line of work. I let go when Crazy Karen screams, "Arrest her now for assaulting me." Deputy Sheriff 1 says, "Ma'am, you need to calm down right now." "No, she assaulted me." Me, best friend, and Walmart manager just stood there and waited for the deputy sheriffs to handle everything and answer anything that was asked to us. Deputy Sheriff 2 says, "Okay, what is going on here?" "You know this witch, arrest her." Deputy Sheriff 1 says, "You need to be quiet or I'm going to arrest you." I was feeling really bad for a child. He was crying as another Walmart employee tried to keep him calm. Crazy Karen kept screaming, and then they cuffed her as I, Walmart manager, and best friend talked to Deputy Sheriff 2 about what happened. I didn't want to press charges because I didn't want to spend time in court with it all. I spend enough time in court with my line of work. She was banned from that Walmart. Walmart manager apologized for everything and gave my best friend and me $50 gift cards. I handed mine to best friend, which paid for the bike and helmet. I never got my items to make dinner, as I called my daughter and told her we were ordering out. I thought that would be the end of this and would never see that woman again. I was wrong. 2 weeks go by and I'm in my office at work and I told everyone in the office about what happened at this Walmart. By the way, I own a home rental business, family owned. I spent my whole life in this business and took over when my parents retired. Nice sized business with 40 employees from office to maintenance. This one fine day, one of my office employees come back to the office with this couple. I was in my office with the door shut, but my employee introduced them to my office manager / CEO, and they were going to file and sign final paperwork on a home rental. My CEO buzzes me and asked if I could come out to meet the new renters and introduce myself to them. As I walked up front, the look of shock hit my face and couldn't believe it. It was Crazy Karen. Crazy Karen sees me. "You, don't tell me you work here." "Yes, I do work here," I said calmly. "Who is your manager? I'm going to have you fired." I see her husband, this poor Chuck without the H, now turning red from embarrassment and then saying and pointing to my office manager. She is the manager, talk to her. "You should fire this worthless witch." The office manager says, "I can't fire her. Only the owner of the company can fire her." "I want to speak to the owner." Office manager points at me and says, "She is the owner." I say, "Yes, you are in my place of business. I'm not going to rent a house to you, and I'm asking you to leave right now, never to come back before I call the sheriff department on you." She leaves in a big hurry with her Chuck of a husband in tow. My sales employee was laughing about it and then joked, "I guess I don't get my rental bonus on my next check." I laughed and said I will pay you the bonus after having to deal with her. He was happy about that. That must have been incredibly satisfying both times. Not only did they manage to get this Karen arrested, but then they were able to show them up and say, "Yes, I own this business, now get the heck out of here before I get you arrested again." But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.